All right. Welcome back, everybody, to Altcoin Daily, where you subscribe for our daily videos on everything going on in the cryptocurrency space. My name's Aaron, and today I want to go over some recent news, and I want to show you something on the Bitcoin rich list which may surprise you. Now, before we get into that, let's take a quick look at the market. It's the beginning of the week, so let's catch us all up, see if you know where we are. What are the prices in cryptocurrency? Right now, Bitcoin is hovering around $3,500, which puts us about $400 above our lows for 2018, 2019. So we're very close to the lows right now. XRP is at 31 cents, Ethereum $116, EOS $2.35, Stellar 10 cents, Litecoin $31, Cardano 4 cents, Monero $43. I mean, I can't go through all of them. If there's a coin you want me to start including when I go over the prices for the usually the higher cap coins, let me know. The overall market cap for the whole entire space, all 2,100 different cryptocurrencies right now, is at $120 billion, which seems like a lot, but it's not really when you consider other asset classes. The height of back in late 2017, early 2018, our overall market cap then was at just a hair over $800 billion. Now we're basically 1/8 of that. So we've never even got past $1 trillion yet, which is why I say all of this is just a drop in the bucket. Cryptocurrency is a new industry. This is a new space. We're early adopters, clearly. And, you know, we have a lot of room to grow, and we're 1/8 down from all-time highs. Now, despite my long-term bullish outlooks on Bitcoin, on cryptocurrency, I mean, I talk about cryptocurrency every day, clearly, so you know I'm bullish on it. But despite that, short-term, I'm actually bearish, and I'm going to tell you why. And I brought up some of these points in our video from a few days ago. I'm going to go over some of those again, add some new stuff. So if we take a look at tradingview.com right now, you remember a few days ago when I drew this purple channel right here, and I explained that after Bitcoin seemingly capitulated back in November of last year, where we went from $6,000 all the way down to $3,100, a near 50% loss in value. After we bounced back up, you know, you can see that we're in a downtrend, which means lower highs and lower lows, where we started off at $4,200, $4,100, $3,900, and then our lows, of course, was at $3,700, $3,600, 3,000, a little bit less than 600, and lower and lower and lower. And the reason I think it's going to be hard to break out, at least break out above in the short term, and listen, nothing would make me happier if we broke out. If there's any reason that you can think of why in January and February we'd see any sort of a major rally upwards, let me know. But let me show you what's stopping us as far as just market analysis goes. So I pointed this out the other day, that our 50-day moving average, we have not been able to break above the 50-day moving average for nearly 6 months now, except for a week or two ago when we broke out for a short amount of time, and this gave me a lot of hope, but since then we got pushed right down, and we're on the day chart right now, and you can see every single day we have not been able to break above it. Now, if and when we do break above this, and we get any sustainable, you know, just accumulation above the 50-day moving average, that would be good. But then we have to break above this downtrend right now. So right now, if we're going to follow this purple line and we go a couple days ahead, after we break above the 50-day moving average, then we'd have to break above some resistance at about $3,900. Very possible, you know, this is nothing, you know, this is nothing concrete. These are just indicators out of many, many things. And the market is very young in general right now, so anything could happen. But if and when we break above $3,900, the major resistance is at the $4,200, which we have not been able to break above. As you can see, we've tried to break above it 1, 2, 3 times, each time with a lower high. So we'll see. Something that is maybe bullish. If we switch from the day to the week chart, you can see this green line right down here, which for some reason did not extend. I don't know, but you can see the green line right here. This is the 200-week moving average, which is a major one. The last 200 weeks averaged together, and we have, when we seemingly capitulated in November, you see we just bounced right off that, which is really good, because after we break the 200-week moving average, if and when we do, that would be bad. Now, as we're going down through this purple channel right here, we're going to possibly test it again. And this is a bullish indicator as far as I'm concerned, because this is a lot of support right here. We'll see. Now, here's the thing. To continue why I think in the short term I'm pretty bearish, it's because if you look back, historically speaking, on every single Q1 of Bitcoin's history, pretty much it's been a downtrend or a sideways trend. So historically speaking, there's really no reason to expect to see a bull run in Q1 of this year. Let me show you. So 2014, obviously, this was the beginning of a 2-year bear market. It was after a rally. We went down, we went down, we went down the whole year. If we get to 2015, 2015 starts right here, and you can see as soon as Q1 started in 2015, even though they were going down the whole year prior, we dipped again, and then we had a lot of sideways action. If we go to 2016, we see, even though we had been going down for quite some time, the previous 2 years, even at the beginning of the year, we took another dip in Q1. And then, of course, in 2017, which begins right here, although 2017 was a very bullish year, we again, at the very beginning of Q1, we dipped. So all I wanted to point out to you was, historically speaking, there's really no reason to think that we'd see a major rally in Q1 of 2019. So that's what I'm watching for. We'll see. We're 80% corrected from all-time highs, which sounds compelling, but if you've been in the market for the last year or two, like most of us have, you know that once you drop 50%, you can easily drop another 50% and then another 50%, but still, let's move on. I want to show you something on the Bitcoin rich list. This is really interesting. Check this out. We have a bona fide whale alert. So within the last couple weeks, a new individual, a new entity, or a new institution has taken the number 2 spot on the Bitcoin rich list, making this person, entity, or institution now the second richest hodler of Bitcoin. And if we click on the wallet and we can see the entire transaction history, you'll be surprised to see that this wallet was only created less than a month ago in late 2018, and since its creation has only had about 4 or 5 transactions, with really only one notable transaction, which happened January 10th, 2019, where this person or institution transferred $475 million worth of Bitcoin to this wallet, and currently that's where it sits. So, who is this person? Most likely scenario is that it's just Bitfinex or Bitstamp or Huobi or Binance. One of the exchanges created a new wallet and has transferred some of their funds into this new wallet. Another possibility is that this is a new exchange. I'm thinking Bakkt. As you know, Bakkt is set to launch probably sometime this year, possibly at the beginning of next year. Whenever it does launch, and it's very clear that eventually they will launch, that's going to bring a lot of big money into the space. And the thing that makes Bakkt the most interesting is that it's physically backed by real Bitcoin, which means their clients will have to close out holding real Bitcoin, which means that Bakkt has to hold real Bitcoin so they can settle transactions. So this possibly is them. Of course, it could be just a random whale, maybe Roger Ver getting back into Bitcoin. We just don't know. I'm going to put out a poll on our Twitter. Link is in the description. Our Twitter is at altcoindailyio. Who do you think took the number 2 spot on the Bitcoin rich list? Ordinary exchange, backed, random whale. I don't know who I'm going to put for number 4. Possibly Roger Ver. All right, moving on. It's a really interesting story. So this is another example of a strong fundamental or a green flag that to me suggests we are in the infancy of this cryptocurrency revolution, and this whole market has a lot of room to grow. So in their end of the year report on global economy, the United Nations calls cryptocurrency a new frontier in digital finance. According to the UN, crypto and blockchain tech at large have the potential to create new and revolutionary business models that cut red tape and drastically increase efficiency. A couple of pull-out quotes from the report. Blockchain and crypto have many use cases. For example, a value token called litecoin is being considered as a basis for creating a global market for carbon emissions, allowing peer-to-peer exchange of carbon credits and a direct connection with the Internet of Things. It would then be possible for devices to calculate their own carbon emissions and purchase carbon credits to offset those emissions. There are also proposals for using blockchain tech as a distributed ledger of real-world information on property registration, personal identity, and the tracking of food and medicines, among other types of data. The United Nations and the WIN are exploring ways to register the identities of children on a blockchain as means of combating child trafficking. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So the United Nations, I guess they also mention specific altcoins. They're into Ripple, they're into IOTA, and I guess they're into litecoin. So hopefully the UN does their own research. Moving on. All right, so you've probably seen this. Let me give you my take on it. The headline is scientists from MIT, Berkeley, and Stanford are designing an improved Bitcoin. So what's the problem? Why do we need an improved Bitcoin? Well, scalability, of course. Scalability is one of the biggest issues which keeps Bitcoin and crypto in general from growing to its next phase of adoption. Essentially, the block size in Bitcoin has created a bottleneck in the transaction process, which will never really allow for more than 7 transactions per second to be processed. Compare this to Visa and MasterCard, which are capable of around 24,000 transactions per second. It's a big issue, which needs solving. Scaling needed soon. What's the solution? Unit E is the name of this new coin, the first prototype currency to come out of the Distributed Technology Research DTR initiative, which is being backed by Pantera Capital, one of the largest crypto and blockchain-focused hedge funds in existence. So this is set to launch over the summer. DTR is aiming at around 10,000 transactions per second, which will really change the game. Speed is key. So here's the thing. If these scientists are so smart, they would know that Bitcoin's primary value is not fast transactions. I mean, if you want a fast transaction, like they said, Visa, MasterCard, very fast transactions. I mean, the fastest way for me to send some money to my friend who's maybe in a different state is I can just get on my cell phone and I can Venmo them some money in minutes. Or, why do we need Unit E? 1,000 of these 2,000 altcoins probably have faster transactions than Bitcoin at the moment. See, if you don't know, Bitcoin's real value is that it is decentralized and it has no single point of failure. If the government wanted to shut it down, they couldn't, because there's no office to go to. There's no CEO. There's no people in a room in a university somewhere that they can go to and shut it down. This is, something that Roger Ver and Bitcoin Cash also said. They thought that Bitcoin's primary value was fast, cheap transactions, when that's really not the case. And we saw last year Bitcoin Cash be created with a larger block size than Bitcoin because the developers at Bitcoin did not want to increase the block size. And it's not because they didn't value Bitcoin being fast and cheap. It's not the reason. They didn't want to increase the block size because they wanted to scale Bitcoin in the safest way possible, keeping Bitcoin secure and decentralized. Because here's the thing, when you increase the block size, that's something you can easily do. But once you increase the block size, there's no going back. It's not backwards compatible. And here's the thing, we're still in the early stages of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I mean, Bitcoin's been around for 10 years. And if you wanted to be a part of the network and run a Bitcoin node, that's something anybody can do. And it would make Bitcoin, stronger as a network. And the thing is, if I set up a node in my apartment right now, it would take probably a couple weeks for my node to sync and to get the whole ledger history since Bitcoin's inception. Now this is 10 years when the market cap for everything is still pretty small. Imagine 10 years in the future or 20 years or 50 years in the future, how long it's going to take to sync a node. It's going to take a while. It's still going to be doable, but it's going to take a while. Now, if we increase the block size, it would be even a harder, more difficult thing. And the thing is, you don't want the block size to be too high. Otherwise, that means less people are going to be running nodes, and that would mean less decentralization. And yeah, Bitcoin's primary feature is it has no central point of failure. Governments cannot shut it down. Basically, Unit E, in my opinion, to put it politely, is probably going to be a shitcoin. And if we look on coinmarketcap.com, there are, out of these 2,000 coins, there are probably 1,500 at least of shitcoins, which promise fast transactions. But guess what? All the nodes, as I pointed this out on our live stream the other day, I might do a separate video on this. There's a report that said 98% of Bitcoin Cash nodes are sitting on a rack in the same central location. And that's the case for many of these coins. Just picking some at random. Insight Chain, 10x, Loopring, ARC. I'm just pulling out random ones. I'm not sure on specifics. But these coins are not decentralized. They're not used. They really don't have the network effect that Bitcoin has. Will I be investing in Unit E? No. But I'm curious, does anybody think this is a good idea? Is Unit E by Berkeley, Stanford, and MIT scientists a good idea? Is this the cryptocurrency we need? Let me know in the comments. Moving on. All right, so for our final story, this is bullish regulations coming out of America. On the state level, Wyoming introduces a bill aiming to define virtual currencies as money. Bottom line is, with this new bill or proposed bill, when you transfer or spend your Bitcoin or crypto, it will not be a taxable event. So the details. A bill meant to clarify the classification of cryptocurrencies has been introduced in the U.S. state of Wyoming, January 18th, according to the official state legislature website. The bill places crypto assets into three categories: digital consumer assets, digital securities, and virtual currencies. The bill defines assets falling in any of these three categories as intangible personal property and grants virtual currencies the same treatment as fiat money. The proposed bill also authorizes banks to, quote, provide custodial services for digital assets consistent with this section upon providing 60 days written notice to the commissioner. The drafted legislation also lets banks serve as qualified custodians in accordance with the SEC. All right, so this is great news coming out of Wyoming. Hopefully America follows suit. I mean, the minute that we have any sort of national clarifications where on a national level we would define cryptocurrencies closer to money rather than securities, and we get away from all this taxable event nonsense, that would be a very bullish thing for cryptocurrency, and I would expect we'd see a rally upwards at that time, because that would really be great news. All right, that is it for me, my friends. Make sure you head on over. Link is in the description. Head over to our Twitter, participate in the poll. My name is Aaron. This is Altcoin Daily. I will see you tomorrow.